Fantastic, how are you guys doing? I just want you guys to know that this video is completely unplanned. It is actually exactly 10 past 11 at night right now. And I have just finished watching Bumblebee. Actually, I went into Bumblebee going, don't review this movie, Caleb. Just go in and have fun. And within the first 2 minutes, I was like, Caleb, as soon as this movie's finished, you're going to go home and you're going to film a review. And I'm just going to say, from the very start to the very end, this movie is just entirely enjoyable. If you are a Transformers fan, you are going to love this movie. Honestly, when it comes to this review, I'm ad-libbing right now. I haven't got a script or anything. I literally just got home and we're doing this. So I don't even know where to start, because honestly, this movie did so much right. And it's hard to pinpoint, like, I can't, off the top of my head, I can't think of anything that actually did fundamentally wrong when it came to this movie. I know that the live-action Transformers movies have disappointed a few throughout the years. And when I say a few, I actually mean a lot. When it comes to critics, they've been incredibly disappointed with the Transformers movies throughout the last little bit. But I can't possibly imagine them being disappointed by this one. I mentioned earlier that the opening sequence was just absolutely awesome, and that's what made me decide to do the review. And there's actually a reason behind that. Now, I've been watching Transformers majority of my life. If I have to say there's one franchise that's impacted me more than any other franchise, it would be Transformers. I've been watching Transformers since I was in grade 4, and I was watching Transformers Cybertron. And I remember the moment they had that season finale on SABC2, they announced the Transformers live action film by Michael Bay. And I watched that, and the moment I finished that, I was like, yo, okay, I have to watch Transformers Generation 1. And when you watch this opening sequence, the entire sequence is just homage to Generation 1. I mean, you're literally watching the Generation 1 cartoon in live action. And it's just, this is what the Transformers films should have been. Like, this opening 2 minutes was just so flippin' engaging, exciting. You see characters that you know, and the reason is you know them because it's how they look in the cartoon. I can't exactly put it into words. You're going to have to watch the sequence for yourself if you're a Transformers fan, because it will not disappoint you. Now, going into this film, I was a little bit worried, to be honest. Bumblebee I'm going to get hated for this. Bumblebee's never been my favorite Transformer. In fact, when it came to the live action films, I was always a little bit disappointed that Bumblebee was in them, because I believed as long as there was Bumblebee, I would never be able to get a Hot Shot. And Hot Shot's my favorite Transformer besides Optimus Prime. And in my mind, I was always going, they're not going to put Hot Shot in because, you know, they've got Bumblebee and they're just too similar. And then they did put Hot Shot in, and he was actually quite a disappointment. But I've got to say, I love Bumblebee now. This movie did so much for him. He was funny, he was everything you could possibly want. He was brave, he was charming, he was enjoyable, funny, charismatic, everything. I love Bumblebee now. And I think, you know, if you're going to do a spin-off film, that's how you have to feel about your character. I mean, Bumblebee was just absolutely delightful. I loved him. And so they did that right. And at the forefront of the movie was actually this relationship between Bumblebee and the human Charlie. And I've just got to say, within one film, they made the relationship between Charlie and Bumblebee far more believable than the relationship between Sam and Bumblebee ever was. Now, I really got invested in the relationship between Sam and Bumblebee. But like, I would take Charlie and Bumblebee any day over Sam and Bumblebee. It was just, they got along so well. So they've found each other and they're able to learn more about themselves through each other. And that dynamic was absolutely incredible, and I enjoyed it. It's definitely one of the strongest aspects of the film. Talking about the relationship between Charlie and Bumblebee, relationships was a theme throughout the whole movie, and especially when you look at Charlie and her family and the fact that her father passed away, and now the family's trying to recover from this, and the mother's got a new guy in her life and stuff like that. Family was definitely at the forefront of this film, and they did it so well. Very often, like, family has always been an aspect of the Transformers universe. When you look at Sam and his parents, and you look at Mark Wahlberg's character and his daughter and stuff like that, family has always been involved in Transformers. But they just did it so well in this film. You understood why this family was struggling, but you understood why they wanted to move on, why they were doing what they were doing. This entire film just perfectly encapsulates that idea of family. And I appreciate the way they did it, because they did it flipping brilliantly. And the actors themselves, they just did a fantastic job of displaying everything. I've got to say, the acting in this film was phenomenal. I've got to give a shout out to Janssens. My word, even as a bad guy, he's just so damn likable, and he's intimidating, and he just did so flipping well. Janssens leaves me speechless. If you know me at all, you know I love wrestling. And to have my favorite wrestler in my favorite movie franchise, Transformers, is just like a dream come true for me. So I remember when I saw Janssens in the trailer, I was like, what? And to actually see something I've always low-key dreamed of actually happening is just absolutely incredible for me. And the rest of the cast did an absolutely fantastic job. In fact, I think I have a new celebrity crush in Haley Steinfeld, because flip, she was just fantastic. I think she had a really complicated role, but she handled it perfectly. We had a few comedic characters on the side. They were hilarious. The humor in this movie landed. The other previous Transformers films, they had an element of humor, but their jokes were very hit and miss. And that was actually lots of people's biggest complaints about the film, was the humor either wasn't necessary, or was too graphic, or was too racist, or was too sexist, stuff like that. But the humor in this film landed absolutely perfectly. And if I'm being too positive about the film, it's because it is a flipping good film. I'm honestly trying to find something wrong with it, and I'm honestly struggling. And here comes the big thing. The reason we all watched Transformers was the action. And I've just got to say, they did another brilliant job. The opening sequence, again, just... my favourite Transformers fight in the history of Transformers still is from Transformers Revenge of the Fallen, with Optimus Prime taking on Megatron and the 3 different Decepticons and all of that in the forest. And I wouldn't say that this film necessarily reaches that peak in terms of like drama and tension and action and, you know, just pure Transformers giant robots fighting, but this movie did really, really well. One of the most creative Transformers deaths in the franchise was in this movie. And you know what? You can never disappoint when you've got giant robots fighting each other. But this film took giant robots and made the fighting so entertaining. So well done to them, because again, the action was just awesome. And then the final point I really want to bring out quickly is just the cinematography was absolutely brilliant. I mean, they played around with the depth of field, the focus, stuff like that. The shots were engaging, and very often, you know, you get films that are just shot okay. You can't say it with this film. This film was shot, it felt like every single scene was shot that way for a particular reason. And I understand every scene is shot a specific way. I mean, lots of money goes into these movies. But it really feels like there was added detail put into this film when it came to the cinematography. So guys, another great shout out to you. Rounding up, I don't know how to end this review. This film was awesome. I loved absolutely everything about it. It was one of those films where you don't want it to end. And the way the film ends, oh my word, literally I got goosebumps. I don't want to spoil it for you, but at the same time I just want to be like, guys, this happened, it was so cool. But so I'm just going to keep quiet. But guys, seriously, I give this film easily 85% up. I don't want to go into the 90s yet. Maybe watch it one more time. You know, maybe bring notes this time, take notes. But this film was just fantastic. I highly recommend you guys watch it. Best live action Transformers film so far, I'd have to say. One thing I realized, sorry, random note, I just realized this now. If you enjoyed Iron Giant, you are going to love this movie. I know that's a weird, it's not a weird comparison, you got giant robots and stuff, but especially near the end, I started to notice parallels and similarities between Bumblebee and the Iron Giant. And if you really enjoyed the Iron Giant, then that's another reason for you to come watch Bumblebee, because the movie, it's just so good. I don't know how to end this review. Guys, go watch Bumblebee. That's it. That's the last thing I'm saying. Go watch Bumblebee.